presentation of Orbit ESPN.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Here to see the opener against the Colts. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us. And what a matchup we have for opening night. Two legitimate championship contenders. The only thing the Ravens are missing is a proven quarterback. Kyle Bowler has to step up this year, and he knows it. Joe Theismann joins me now, and Joe, certainly the one worry the Colts don't have is at quarterback, because they've got the best, Peyton Manning.
No, Mike, when you have a two-time MVP as your quarterback, you feel real comfortable there. Last year, I had a chance to talk to Peyton Manning and ask him what his goals were for the year. He said, I'd like to throw 40 touchdown passes. He threw 49. I asked him the other night, how many touchdown passes would you like to throw this year? He said, that's not on my mind. I understand the importance of opening night. We lost last year in the opening game, and it probably cost us home field advantage. He doesn't want to have that happen again. But the one thing he's going to have to deal with tonight will be the noise of this stadium. We've already heard how loud it is, Mike. Peyton's got to figure out how to deal with it.
All right, thanks very much, Joe. One other thing he'll have to deal with, just a little one. Paul McGuire is a remarkably talented defense, and he has to do it here in Baltimore on the road.
Well, the Ravens have 8 past or present Pro Bowlers on this defense. And 2 of them, Ed Reed, who happens to be the best safety in professional football, and Ray Lewis, who happens to be the best middle linebacker in pro football, give Peyton Manning fits. And what you're going to see tonight is a ton of movement by the entire defense to try to confuse Peyton Manning. And I asked Peyton, I said, have you ever seen a defense with this much movement? He said never, and the reason that they can do it is because of their experience and they're smart. And I also said to Tony Dungy, who's the ex-defensive coordinator, I said, Tony, what do you think about this movement of this defense? He said, they are fun to watch.
Thank you, Paul. ESPN presents Visa Skycam. Visa Skycam provides some of the most unique and memorable images ever seen from angles no other single camera in the world can achieve. And we're excited to bring it to you every Sunday night. When we come back to Honor America on the anniversary of 9/11, Lee Greenwood and our national anthem. Baltimore, and now let's join the public address announcer, Bruce Cunningham.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and remove your hats. Please join us as we honor our nation and pay tribute to America and to those whose lives were changed forever by the devastating events on September 11th, 2001. Welcome once again, Lee Greenwood, who will perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner the land of the free and the home of the brave.
When we come back, Susie Colbert joins us. She'll have an update on Jamal Lewis.
With every show.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Bud Light salutes the football fans of Indianapolis and Baltimore, where the game is always on and the Bud Light is just right.
Welcome back to Baltimore, where opening night represents a new beginning. But for one player, it's about a whole lot more than football, because only one player spent 4 months of his offseason in a federal prison, 2 more months in a halfway house. The sentence for pleading guilty to using a cell phone to set up a drug deal for a friend 5 years ago. I asked Jamal Lewis how those 6 months affected the way he views the game.
Made me appreciate it more. Made me appreciate it. Made me appreciate waking up, going to work, and running around on the football field with my friends and with my teammates and everything, and just cherishing those moments, because it could, you know, what it showed me was that it could all be over. It could all be over, you know, in a matter of minutes. You know, it could be gone.
And consider, this has been hanging over Jamal's head for 5 years, every day wondering when he'd have to confront it. It's a lot of weight to carry. If he could accomplish what he did under those circumstances, imagine what he can do now. Mike, it begins in moments.
All right, Susie, and certainly he has already proven he is one of the great backs in the National Football League. Brian Billick now in his 7th year, already a Super Bowl winner, but he has missed the playoffs 2 of the last 3 seasons. And Tony Dungy has to be in an outstanding mood tonight. He just received a 3-year contract extension. He is tied up with the Indianapolis Colts until 2009, and hopefully for all of us who enjoy pro football for longer than that.
I'll tell you, that is one smart move that they made by keeping this guy as their head coach.
When you got a great coach, you want to keep it. It's like keeping around great players. And what a crazy weekend to start the NFL season.
Some odd scores.
Wow.
Rayner will handle the kickoffs, the rookie out of Michigan State. This is B.J. Sams, who was very good a year ago as a punt and kick returner for the Ravens. And Baltimore will get the ball first. We're underway. Sams from the 1. 20. And out of bounds short of the 30. The Ravens have an enormous offensive line led by 8-time Pro Bowler Jonathan Ogden, one of the game's best. Derek Mason is a major upgrade at wide receiver. He had 96 catches for Tennessee a year ago. Jamal Lewis missed 5 games last season, still went over the 1,000-yard mark for the 4th straight year. They'll start with 2 tight ends. Wilcox is the blocking back, number 83, with Jamal Lewis, the deep man, and he'll get the first carry as expected, and Lewis lumbers across the 35 to the 36. The Colts defense is the key to how far they can go. Dwight Freeney actually led the NFL last year with 16 sacks. David Thornton is their most athletic linebacker. He is always around the ball, always in on tackles. Nick Harper in his 5th year, the veteran in the secondary. He led all their corners last year, but that was with just 3 interceptions. Lewis pushed back, may have gotten a half a yard on that. David Thornton out of North Carolina was the first man to hit him and got some help. The numbers on Jamal Lewis, this was with 5 games missed a year ago, only 2 years removed from that 2,000-yard season, and he still averaged over 4 yards a carry.
This is where you'd think, with the size of the offensive line of the Baltimore Ravens, that they would run at Dwight Freeney. You've got Jonathan Ogden at 345, Freeney at about 270, so look for him to run left.
Ovi Mahaley is in there as a blocking back. Lewis a little stutter step, and he should have enough for the first down. This is a team that is built to run the football. Joe, you mentioned that enormous offensive line, and like most offensive linemen, they would rather run it, but they're much more proficient at it.
But they're going to have to become better pass blockers, just like if the Ravens want to get to the Super Bowl or they want to get into the playoffs, they're going to have to be a more efficient throwing team.
When you say they're a running team, isn't it amazing that Jamal carries the ball the first 3 times?
Yeah, what a surprise.
I think this one's a pass or play action.
Bowler fakes. Good protection. Rifles, and that one is complete. The first catch for Derek Mason as a Raven. 16 yards on the reception.
That's why they brought in Derek Mason, because he adds a decisiveness to the passing game. On this play, you run it 3 times, so fake it to Jamal. Get the linebackers up, and then Kyle Bowler does a nice job of getting rid of the football. And this is the thing for Kyle Bowler. He's just got to, now he should be able to relax. He's got his first completion. They have a little bit of a concern when he gets jacked up too much and gets a little outside himself.
Lewis hit at the line and dragged down. Good stop by Gary Brackett, number 58, who was taking over the middle linebacking job.
You know, the one thing about Kyle Bowler, that just when he sits down, you know, he's a little hyper. He's very hyper. But you know, the thing about it is he really realizes that this team rides on his shoulders, and he has accepted that. All the bad press about him, the only thing that anybody ever says good about him is that he's a tough kid, and he's tired of hearing it.
And these fans, based on the preseason, are just waiting to boo him if things don't go right. Here's the screen, and it's incomplete, intended for Chester Taylor. That play didn't have any rhythm to it whatsoever.
Well, that was going to be a screen off of the reverse, and this is something that Jim Fossil, their new offensive coordinator, likes to do. He likes to mix things up. I had a chance to visit with Jim on Friday, and it's the first time he's been back calling plays in a couple of years. Was a consultant to the Ravens a year ago, and really only went to dinner with Kyle Bowler on Monday night and hung around to help a little bit with game plans on Tuesday and was gone.
Mark Clayton, number 89, the rookie wide receiver from Oklahoma, is in the ball game as a 3rd wide receiver. It looked like Ogden moved early. Bowler with a deep throw. Harper knocked it away, and it's intercepted by Brackett. Looked like he picked it right off the top of the turf.
I'm going to tell you, they're going to call him down. But I'll tell you what, Harper, you talk about an outstanding play. Harper knows that he can't intercept the ball. So what he really does is knock the ball forward and keeps the ball alive so Brackett can intercept it.
Keep in mind,
look at this play.
Harper's giving up 8 inches. 8 inches to Clarence Moore. He still gets up and has the ability to knock it off. And that's why Gary Brackett is playing middle linebacker instead of Rob Morris, because he can get back a little quicker.
We've got a timeout on the field. The Ravens' opening drive stopped by the interception.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
The world's most renowned race courses, the most sought-after horses, the most prominent jockeys, and top prize money all come together. Horse racing, now airing on Orbit.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Back in Baltimore, they have turned it over, given the football to the Indianapolis Colts, who will take over at the 23. A lot of pointing going on, isn't there? Edger and James. Suggs crashes down from his defensive line spot. The Indianapolis offense has weapons galore. Tarek Glenn anchors a line that gave up an NFL low 14 sacks last year. Marvin Harrison remains among the league's elite receivers. He's rapidly moving up the all-time list in touchdowns and catches. And Peyton Manning broke Dan Marino's single-season touchdown record with 49 last year. Even 2/3 of that would be an MVP year this season.
Look at this defense move around.
Dressed in all black. Manning. Wayne makes the catch up to the 38. That'll be a first down. Samari roll there on defense. That Ravens defense is loaded up front. Terrell Suggs back at defensive end after a Pro Bowl year as a linebacker. Ray Lewis, one of the all-time greats. He's a two-time winner of the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. And Ed Reed won that same award last year as a turnover machine. He led the league with 9 interceptions. This will be a chess match for 4 quarters. The intelligence of the Colts offense against the intelligence of the Ravens defense. Manning steps up in the pocket and throws underneath. Harrison with his first grab. Has anyone ever had a better year than Peyton Manning did a season ago? Joe, as a quarterback, I got to ask you, I never saw anything like it.
Well, it's the touchdown passes that are impressive, but it's the interceptions, how low they are. That's what sets him apart.
James, they stretch it out, and he still gets a couple, maybe a yard shy of a first down.
You know, isn't it unreal when you talk to Ray Lewis and you talk about, you got Peyton Manning throws 49 touchdowns a year ago, and the first thing that Ray Lewis says this is the motor for this football team. Edgerrin James is the guy. If we can't stop him, we can't stop Indianapolis, and it's incredible.
He says all you have to do is go back and watch the film. They throw a swing pass to him, they give it to him on a draw play or something else.
This is where you have to be careful of play action with them trying to go to Marvin Harrison one-on-one. They did it last year.
James behind Monroe. First down and more. He's down to the 43-yard line. Monroe playing fullback. He's listed at 214. He's probably 190. Peyton Manning said he's the toughest 190-pound fullback in this league.
Watch Monroe now. He gets out in front. Look at this. Edgerrin James is falling. Look at that block, and that's on Ray Lewis.
You got to admit he's willing.
Oh, man. They said he's the toughest 190 pounds they've seen.
Manning to the shotgun. This is the Colts' first possession. Pressure. Manning throws. Wayne can't hold it. He had beaten Samari roll. Ed Reed came over and gave him some help on the underthrown pass. He had a shot at it.
I just love the way Peyton Manning attacks defenses. He doesn't matter. The fact that Samari roll is not looking back is why Peyton Manning threw this. He counts on Reggie Wayne going up to make the play for him. Remember also, Rex Ryan is the new defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. So these guys haven't played a lot in preseason together, nor do they have all the communications down for the defense.
Suggs comes in a hurry, and Manning just throws it away.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're looking for intentional grounding, but the only problem is that that Reggie Wayne was in the area. So Peyton Manning was really smart because he sees Suggs coming. Look at him, he throws this ball away. Suggs was there in a heartbeat.
This is where the noise has a problem. The offensive linemen have to pick up the communications. That time, Ryan Loser, their left guard, did not drop out and make a block.
70,000 on their feet in Baltimore.
Well, here's where you have to be really careful about Edgerrin James.
And Manning has to use a timeout. He's missing one of his weapons. Dallas Clark, the tight end, is out, but there's plenty left in the cylinder.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
For 30 years, it's been the leading news show in America, attracting 3 million viewers every day with its in-depth, comprehensive, on-the-spot journalism. Now it's your chance to watch it. The News Hour with Jim Lehrer, Tuesday to Saturday at 7 a.m. Riyadh time, exclusively on Orbit News. Get the full picture.
لا تفوتوا الفرجة على قناة سينما 2. قناة السينما العائلية ومتعة المشاهدة في البيت.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40. GMC Trucks and SUVs, we are professional grade. MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And Diet Pepsi, live football, drink Diet Pepsi.
Images of the great Johnny Unitas. This marks the 3rd anniversary of his death. He played 17 years here in Baltimore. I was going to say he and Dan Marino, the best 2 I ever saw.
Had a chance to meet his young daughter with the Raven organization just the other day.
Brandon Stokely in as the 3rd wide receiver. James is the single back, Manning to the shotgun. Underneath, Edger and James diving for the sticks. Dallas Thomas was out there. So was Anthony Weaver, the defensive end.
Michael, I said the one guy you just, and even Ray Lewis told us, the one guy you can never forget about is number 32. Now, Peyton Manning looks over the field. Look at how open he is. Now, watch what he does to stretch himself out. He's got the first down. Look at the pre-snap movement that they have. Look at the defense moving all over the place, but they forgot one guy. That's number 32. Look at when he comes out into the flat. There's nobody really on him, and he gets the first down. I mean, you got to look. They're not giving him the first down, but I'll tell you what. When he dove, he was in bounds, and that ball was beyond the marker.
I thought he got past it, too.
I did, too. I mean,
see, to me, I would go for it, but I wouldn't go for it running the football. I would go for it and throw the football because I think the Ravens will give you that much room. And if I'm Peyton Manning, I just call Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, and Peyton Manning are in their 8th year together. Tony Dungy is not going to back off. I don't think that the Colts are afraid of the Raven offense, so why not take a chance here?
4th and inches. Out of the eye, only one wide receiver, that's Marvin Harrison. Edgerrin. Close. Real close.
I don't think that the Indianapolis Colts are built to run short yardage plays like this. I'm not sure whether he got it or not. But when you're going to stick James Mungrone up there, I mean, 5'9", he's going to give you as much as he can, but I'm not sure if he can get enough movement up front.
Well, he went in to block in the hole, but he missed whoever was in the hole. They had to get the ball to the 33-yard line.
They're short, Paul. I'm going out. I'm going to take my first swing at it this year. They're short. What do you think?
Well,
come on.
Well, speaking of short, you would know. I think
they turn it over. Defense held. Joe's 1 for 1. We'll be back in a minute.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Every year, every season, young players dream of making it to the next level. But the road is long and hard, and it all begins here. College football now airing every week on Orbit ESPN.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
The chess match continues. Peyton Manning and the Colts offense, Ray Lewis and the Ravens defense. And what does this have to feel like for the Ravens fans to look down there and see those Colts uniforms? Those were their uniforms for so many years.
Yeah, but it's been 10 years.
Bowler out in the flat completes that one to Dan Wilcox, who is drilled as soon as he got it. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, Brian Billick loves to defend his young quarterback, and among some of the adjectives he uses, he's a great athlete, he's a gym rat, he studies hard. But then there's that frenetic pace that you guys were talking about. Kyle knows he has to slow down. So one of the things he does, he writes a message on the underside of his wristbands. I asked him before the game, what does it say tonight? It says smooth. That reminds him to just stay calm in the pocket and slow down.
All right, Suze, he's had success with that before. Boy, was Freeney quick off the ball. Lewis on the delay, breaking tackles across midfield, submarined at the 40. This guy is 245 pounds, and when he came in to meet with us the other day, he looked like he couldn't have been any more than 215.
All right, when you look at him, just watch his feet now. I'm telling you, this guy never stops. They lost him in the backfield. All right, here comes Freeney around Jonathan Ogden. He misses. Triplett, he also misses number 75. He's the guy that misses him in the backfield. But you're not going to bring him down with one arm. I don't care who you are.
Lewis again. Got such outstanding vision. He takes one of those little crow hop steps and then explodes.
Keep in mind, Jamal Lewis only had 6 carries in the preseason, and that was in their last game 10 days ago. I don't think he's game ready. His ankle was a little bit sore. I think what you'll see is spotted by Chester Taylor, just to give him a little bit of a break, give him a chance to get himself winded, get the excitement, the energy, and settle down. Let the adrenaline settle a little.
What a quinky-dink. Chester's in the game.
Quinky-dink.
He's already had 6 carries in this game, and Chester Taylor gained over 700 yards, filling in for Lewis when he was hurt last year. Todd Heap, here's the all-pro tight end who missed all of last year with an ankle injury at basically almost 11 games.
Well, this is what makes him happy, Todd Heap.
Well, you know what? Believe me, Kyle Bowler looks like an entirely different quarterback than we saw a year ago. We did the Indianapolis-Baltimore game a year ago, and now he's just so decisive, setting with the football, getting it out. Of course, having a security blanket back like Todd Heap doesn't hurt at all.
Chester Taylor is the deep man in the eye. Ravens were moving it earlier when the intercepted pass stopped the drive, and Taylor stopped by Gary Brackett. Our opener on Sunday night, just what a great matchup this is from Baltimore with the brilliant defense of the Ravens, the brilliant offense of the Colts, and the matchup of the team that used to play here against the one that does now.
Well, and the one thing the Ravens really do not need to do is to move the ball like they're moving it now and come away with 3. If you're going to beat the Indianapolis Colts, you've got to put some touchdowns up.
2nd and 7, Bowler with the out. That one is wide of Derek Mason.
But I still like the way he's getting back set. He knows what he wants to do with the football. And Paul, I agree with you, but if you're going to have to, you can't take chances just to try and get the 7s. You know, if you wind up not getting enough yards on this one, you'd have to kick the field goal.
There's no question about that. I'm saying
they get close.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I agree with you, Paul.
31's back in the game again. The other Lewis.
And that's not good news for anybody who plays defense. Three-man rush. Bowler dumps it off to Lewis. Fighting for yardage, not enough. Stopped at the 20. 2 yards shy of a first down. Jason David and Cato June come up to make the stop.
I tell you what, Cato June comes in and makes the stop, number 59. But I'm going to tell you what, this has got to be a little frightening. Here he is, Lewis in the open field, and he's flying. He's at full speed, and you've got to bring him down.
Cato June gives up 20 pounds to him.
16-year veteran Matt Stover will come in to try a 38-yard field goal.
No good.
And he missed it.
Well, I said
so. The Ravens have. You're right. The Ravens have one drive stopped by an interception, another drive stopped on the missed field goal, and Paul's 1 for 1.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
No one plays the game like them. For them, it's a way of life. Skills, thrills, attacking flair. That's what Brazilian football is all about. The Brazilian Championship, live Sunday at these times on Al Dia. ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
Tomorrow, get ready for some football with Monday Night Countdown beginning at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN HD. Then at 9 Eastern on Monday Night Football, watch Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens take the field together when the Eagles challenge Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons in a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. After the missed field goal, the Colts take over at their own 28-yard line.
Somebody's got to block Suggs.
Edgerrin James pounds his way out for 10.
What a nice job of running. He is so versatile. He spends time with Peyton Manning. And what he does is he asks, when Peyton's looking at things, he asks Peyton what he's looking for so that he can be on the same page as him. So as he points out different people on the defense, Edge knows exactly why he's doing that.
Manning with time and tipped away, intended for Stokely Reed. Got a hand on it.
Ed Reed. You know, I really love to watch Ed Reed play. First of all, you never know where the guy's going to be.
Neither does he.
And he really doesn't sometimes. And he said, you know, I don't know, but I usually end up in the right spot. But look at this movement. Stokely's going inside. Reed reads Stokely's eyes and then turns as the ball comes and knocks the ball away. That's perfect defense. That's why he's the best.
Flag is down on 2nd and 10.
False start, 78, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Tarek Glenn, the veteran left tackle. Reed, of course, distinguished himself as a playmaker last year and was rewarded by being named as the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. He had 358 return yards on 9 interceptions. That's right, 358. That was an NFL record. This one was 105 yards off of Jeff Garcia. He is something else. 2nd and 15.
Look at Ray Lewis move around. Down on one knee, up.
Peter Boulware is in. Stokely makes the catch, and up to the 49. Knew exactly where the sticks were. As soon as he caught it, he turned and got the first down.
You know, Brandon Stokely, they said, well, he's not really 100%, but I think they are when it comes game time on the first game of the year. But look at this. He's working on the linebacker, Darius Thomas, and he falls down, number 96, Thomas. When he falls down, it's open. But I'll tell you what, Peyton Manning had all day, Joe, to throw the football.
Well, they're not bringing a lot of blitzes, and really with 3 wides, it wouldn't be smart.
James, not this time, Ray Lewis, after a gain of 2. Check in with Susie.
You know what? Edge's numbers speak for themselves, but the thing that really gets you is what his teammates say, the less obvious things, like work ethic. Reggie Wayne, who goes all the way back to their University of Miami days, says that Edge will just call him up to talk about what he wants to work on in practice. Peyton points to his protection. By far the best blocking back in the game. He just stones people.
Susie already has 39 yards from scrimmage in this game. He is one of only 5 NFL players ever to go over 2,000 yards from scrimmage 3 times in his career, and he's only played 6 yards. Manning wide open, it's incomplete. A half a step too far for Harrison. How did he get that open?
Because this is a brand new defense, and the defensive backs have not played together, and we
coming. And they blow it dead.
Joe, did you say someone was going to be deep? Well, Ed Reed was down by the 15.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Ed Reed was backing up, and he was backing up. He got to the 20 when the flag went up in the air. He was on his way to the end zone to wait.
I tell you what, the wheels are turning on every snap on both sides of the ball. This is fascinating.
You got Tom Moore, who's the offensive coordinator of the Colts, Rex Ryan, the new defensive coordinator of the Ravens, and Rex Ryan told me you can't sit in a traditional defense. Well, what we've seen from the Ravens is far from traditional when you're talking about defense.
6 defensive backs are on the field for the Ravens. 5 of those 6 have been to the Pro Bowl. Good protection for Manning. Throws underneath. Edgerrin James. Ray Lewis drags him down.
If Ray Lewis was relentless, I'm going to tell you something. And again, I'm going to repeat what he told us in the meeting 2 days ago. Don't ever forget about Edgerrin James. And this time, Edgerrin James was his man. And when Edgerrin caught the ball, and that was the only guy that Peyton Manning could throw the ball to, Ray Lewis was right there to nail him.
We talk about Peyton Manning's ability on offense to know where everybody is. Ray Lewis is the same way in the concept of this defense. He knows where he's supposed to be.
Hunter Smith will kick to B.J. Sams. Fair catch, lets it go, and it's down inside the 10. Kelp